From deep in the heart of Texas, it's On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. Hosted since 2016 by your favorite sports columnists, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman and Kirk Bohls of the Houston Chronicle. Let's do it, fellas.
It's On Second Thought, Thanksgiving week edition. Cedric Golden here with the Duck, Kirk Bohls, and Duck, man. It's do or die for the Beavos this week. And we can stop talking about do you get in or don't you get in, because they got to beat the Texas A&M Aggies at 6:30 p.m. at DKR on Friday night before they can even think about the CFP. Do you think they got a chance, Duck? Is there a chance?
Always a chance. They're kicking off the ball. There's a chance. So how good a chance? I don't know. But yeah,
Don't start talking semantics. Either they got a shot or they don't, Duck.
Yeah, I think they got a chance. I mean, A&M clearly has the better team. They've had the better season all year long. So they come in as a favorite. They should be the favorite. You know, other than that first half hiccup against South Carolina a couple weeks ago, they've had just a spectacular season. So I don't have any doubts about them. Do you?
No, I wrote 3 weeks ago. I thought they were the best team in the country, the way we're playing like it, and they came back from the dead against the Gamecocks, and I think that just made them feel even more powerful going in. That a team can't even knock them out with a 27-point lead at the half. So that's glimpses of the 2004 Texas Longhorns, who were down 35-7 and came back and beat Oklahoma State 56-35. So maybe this is the year that the Aggies finally break through and win it all for the first time since World War II. That's been a minute.
Yeah, I think Hitler was invading Poland the last time the Aggies won it all. And Pearl Harbor hadn't even happened yet. We know that's been a minute. So, yeah, it's been a special season for the Aggies. You know, it's funny, too. You know, I know we both have a lot of Aggie friends, and even through this all, they've enjoyed it, but I'm not saying they're waiting for the other shoe to fall, but they're like, we've been teased before. So I think they've got a greater level of trust with this team, and I think so much of it's due to Mike Elko, because I think he's changed the whole mindset over there. And you know, I think some would point out, well, he changed it last year, and then they didn't even score an offensive touchdown against Texas. But they were playing for an SEC championship game appearance, just like Texas was, and now here they are again playing for another one. So I would say this means a whole lot more to A&M than it does Texas as far as the stakes. Would you agree or disagree?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not. I mean, we had Texas being better this year, Doug, but we said it wouldn't shock if they went 9-3 or 10-2, or I mean,
Right.
I think 8-4 would be a shock to me, as I didn't have them losing 4. But you keep sending those big classes to the NFL. Sooner or later, you're gonna feel that. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart mastered the art of double-digit draft classes followed by double-digit wins, but those guys are all-time greats. And Steve Sarkisian has just dipped his toe into that kind of rarefied air of back-to-back double-digit win seasons, something that hadn't happened at Texas in a very, very long time since Mac Brown went double digits in 2008 and 2009. So for me, I'm not shocked that the Horns are in this position, but the Aggies have been built from the ground up. They're 11-0. They're a veteran ball club, unlike Texas. Texas is pretty young, Duck. They're pretty young compared to last year. They're a veteran ball club. They've been through some things, and now this is their chance to knock that door down and become an actual national title contender. There aren't too many teams that are better than A&M in America, but they still have to play to get to where they want to be.
Yeah, they're a complete team. They're good on both sides of the ball. They can run, they can pass. Marcel Reed has been transformed into a Heisman candidate, and that's a credit to Mike Elko and Colin Klein, their OC, you know, because A year ago, I don't know if any of us would have said, "Oh yeah, he'll probably be a legit Heisman candidate by the end of November." I'm not sure how many people saw that coming, but he's been impressive, and they don't rely on him like Texas does Arch Manning. I mean, they average almost 196 yards rushing, and they've had 7 games said with over 200 yards rushing. I mean, Texas tries to get to
How many
100
is how
yards.
many has Texas had?
2. Guess who they were playing? UTEP and Sam
Oh
Houston.
man,
So that doesn't
does that
really
really
count.
even count?
It really doesn't. And it sure doesn't move the needle. And so that just has put so much pressure and stress on Arch Manning in the passing game. And to their credit, they've delivered the last month. But just about the time they fixed Arch, there goes the defense, and especially the pass defense. I figured up over the last 4 games, Texas has given up 1,300 passing yards and 13 touchdowns through the air. That's dreadful.
That's crazy. That is a crazy stat.
I don't know what's happened to this, especially
How
the
can you give up
secondary.
those kind of numbers and have those sack numbers at the same time?
It
They're
doesn't make
getting to the
any sense.
quarterback, Doug, but you can't sack him on every play.
No, you can't. You can't. And even more than that, it's about pressure of the quarterback. Sark mentions that all the time, and he's right. We look at sacks, but if you can hurry the quarterback or make him throw an incompletion on 3rd and 6, that's just as big as a sack a lot of times. But A&M and Texas are kind of joined at the hip. They both had great pass rushes, but Texas secondary is going to have to come up big, and I just don't know if I trust them. Do you?
I know I don't trust him. And here's what Steve Sarkisian had to say about the struggles with the defense.
It's a very young team that we've really had some growing pains. But what I appreciate about them, and I told them this yesterday. We got together yesterday to review the Arkansas game. Is that I appreciate them trusting the messaging. These guys want to be really good. They're striving to be really good. They trust me. You can feel it in their approach to things. And so what I know is that they're willing, and they're gonna try to do what we ask them to do. I think one thing for us to go back to something, defensively, where we're playing right now, where our mistakes are occurring, is we're chasing, trying to make plays, and we're not playing within the realm of the defense and doing our job to where we're capable of doing it like we were early in the season. It's almost like we're trying to make plays because maybe the offense wasn't where they were supposed to be, and that's a scary place to play defensively. Well, now we've kind of got the offense kind of situated. We don't need to try harder on defense. We need to keep doing our job really well. And I think that it sounds like a simple fix. And we've obviously addressed it, but when you look at where some of our breakdowns occurred Saturday, it's from really veteran players who have played high level football for us, that we just need to get them back to playing within the scheme of the defense and playing to their capabilities. If we do that, we'll be a lot better off than where we've been maybe the last couple of years.
Doug, when you hear an offensive coach talking about defense, that's never good because he doesn't want to have to speak. He's a football coach, but he doesn't want to have to speak ill of a defense that was number 3 in the country at one point last year, one of the stingiest defenses in America. Doug, they gave up 30 points in or more in the last 4 games. And then the previous 7, the first 7 of the year, they averaged giving up 10 a game and did not give up 30. The thing that's changed is I just think that these playmaking quarterbacks have been able to extend plays. People like Diego Pavia, people like Taylor Green have been able to extend plays, and these guys aren't able to hold their water on the back end for more than a second or two, and that's become a problem. Michael Taft said it. I don't even know if he was telling off on the defense, but he said, trying to guard one of these receivers for 10 seconds and see how good you do. It's not built for that. You got to get pressure to the quarterback and get him on the ground. And Texas has gotten some sacks, but not enough sacks to hide what's been a dreadful secondary these last four games.
And they don't play any press coverage, any man for man. It's all soft zones, and these good quarterbacks will pick them apart. They'll find the seams in a zone defense, and I don't know. It just puts so much stress on Arch to convert those third downs, keep the clock, keep the chains moving, and keep the clock going to shorten the game. Texas wants a shorter game. I don't know. It's funny because I was on a radio show this week, and I thought Arch Manning is about the equal of Marcel Reed in terms of numbers, but Marcel Reed can run the ball, and Arch doesn't want to run the ball. He can, but he's not looking to run, where I think Marcel Reed looks to run a little bit more. What do you think?
Marcel's got more wiggle. He's got a little bit more wiggle.
Oh, yeah.
Arch has good top line speed, but Arch is usually running out of trying to get away from being sacked. They don't really call that many plays for Arch, even though last year in the first quarter of the A&M game, they called a design run for Arch, and he scored a touchdown. So
First play. Yeah, his first play.
But I wonder, Duck, how much of that is him being a little banged up and they're trying to protect him, and I wonder how much of that is scheme. That I'm not certain of, but I think if Arch Manning is running offensively, that would put fear in the hearts of the A&M defensive coaches, because Arch Manning can hurt you with his legs. He's not slow.
And I think you're right, and I think Sark would probably be smart to run him by design early in the game, to put that thought in the defense's mind. And I don't know I don't think you need a spy on Arch like Texas probably needs on Marcel Reed. And speaking of that, what's your level of confidence in Anthony Hill playing to his ability? And that's compounded by the loss of Ty Anthony Smith for the first half because of the targeting penalty.
That's big, Duck. That's big. I guess they're going to put one of those billy clubs on his arm, one of those big old soft cast or whatever. You saw me right in my Nuggets last week that I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play another game for Texas, because Anthony Hill's got a family to feed, and Anthony Hill, if he's injured, does he really want to risk further injury? I guess if you think about it, a hand is is a little bit easier to overcome than a knee or an ankle. So we know he can run. So if
it's hard to wrap up. It's hard to wrap up as a tackler.
It is hard to wrap up and tackle. So I think his mere presence from a communication standpoint is going to be big on the front end, because he's the leader of that front seven. So I would hope that if he comes back to play, that's going to be something that they're going to be better at, because they got caught. They got gashed early and often in that Arkansas game.
Oh, yeah.
4 plays of 25-plus yards on first down in the first half. Arkansas was off and running, and so maybe if he's in there, even if he's less than 100% because he can't wrap up, they're still going to be on the same page defensively. If he plays, that's going to be a load off the minds of PK and Sark, because no Ty Anthony Smith, so you're looking at Leonga, Lefau, and Trey Moore having to carry the burden of heavy lifting. So that's going to be good if they can get Ant Hill, even though we know he's not at 100%.
And they get Smith back in the second half, and that would be key. And that speaks to the start of this game. I think Texas has had some quick, fast starts. They don't always follow it up. They've had that screen pass to Ryan Wingo. It's like they're set first play every game, and he went the distance once.
Maybe he set something up, Doug. Maybe he set something up. Maybe he's gonna fake that and then throw a go route.
That's what I would do. I would fake the screen and throw left, or let him run the go route. Exactly. I think that was part. But it's a home field advantage for the Longhorns. But if A&M comes in all jacked up and they score early, I mean, Arkansas did it last week, end up settling for a field goal, and then Georgia scored their first 2 times with touchdowns. I mean, if A&M does something like that to negate the crowd and maybe even turn the crowd against Texas. Remember, this is a crowd that booed Arch Manning back in September. So, it's the home field advantage as long as you're in the game and playing well. If you're not, I think that could revert to being a home field disadvantage.
Well, who's the X factor? Who's somebody that's not a frontline player that can show up and give Texas a realistic chance to spring this upset, Duck?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they get anything out of the running game with Weisner. I mean, he had the career game last year.
Didn't he run for 186 yards last year against the Aggies?
He did
A
33
buck 86.
carries. 33
They'll take
carries.
86. They'll take 86. They'll take
Yes,
86
they would take
on
86. They
Friday.
gotta, and I think they'll probably incorporate the tight ends a little bit more. The offensive line is settled down a little bit, and maybe Jack injuries, had a few good catches. So I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to have to try to run a little bit, and they want to keep the clock running. As far as defensively, they can't let Marcel Reed go crazy. Reuben Owens, a talented running back. Le'Veon Moss has been out 5 games with an ankle injury. There's talk that maybe he could be ready to play, and that would be bad. And also, we mentioned all the pass rush by each team. Do you know Marcel Reed's been sacked 9 times?
9 times, Doug.
11 games. 11
Yeah.
games. And do you remember Florida? Arch got sacked 7 times in that one game. He was fighting for his life in that game in Gainesville. So, one advantage I think Texas does have is in the kicking game and special teams. Now, the Aggies have their own in Casey Concepcion. I think he could be an All-American
He's
this
nice.
year. He and Ryan Niblett are both All-American return artists, but the Aggies have had their troubles kicking. They bench Randy Bond, and they've gone to the backup Jared Zirkle. He's a Georgia transfer who was there. He was there. This is his second year at A&M. He was their kickoff specialist last year, but it comes down to a field goal. The Aggies don't have good memories of field goal kickers in this series lately, do they? Not to mention
Justin
anybody by
Tucker's
name.
2011, Jay Tuck. My X factor is Emmett Mosley. I think he can hurt. I think he can hurt people.
I like him.
I know he's only got a couple games left this season.
Yeah.
He's going to be an alpha dog receiver next year.
Yeah.
I think Emmett Mosley has a star potential.
I
He
do
doesn't
too.
drop many passes, and he's great after the catch. And I think he could show up big. But you're right. If they can run it a little bit, that
Yeah.
could take a little bit of pressure off that offensive line and maybe slow down Cassius Howell a little bit and give Arch some time to work. Because when Arch has time, he's as good as anybody does. He's played really well. He has
really
played
has.
really well.
And the Aggies have been vulnerable to some explosive plays in the passing and running game. Sometimes it's after the outcome's already decided, but teams have attacked
South
them.
Carolina got after him early, Duck.
They
South Carolina
did
got
that
after him
first
early.
half. They did, and it's going to be and here's one last thing on turnovers. Texas huge advantage in turnovers. Texas is plus 10 and 10th in the nation in turnovers. Aggies are -5 in turnovers. So, but turnovers are something you can really rely on. They just kind of happen. So I don't know if that's an advantage or not, but it's worth pointing out.
Who you picking, Duck? I mean, let's just get down to brass taxes. I've been going back and forth on this, and you tell me who you're picking, and I'll tell you who I'm picking.
I've gone back and forth too. I wonder, this has been a flawed Texas team throughout. It went from a great defense in Columbus to a terrible defense the last 4 games. And like you say, the running game has just not been strong, take the pressure off. So I think the Aggies just might have too much for them. I think this time the Aggies win by a field goal. You?
Give me a score, big dog.
I
Give
think
me a
it'll be
score.
up there. I think it'll be, maybe like 34-31.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, my God. I've just been around you too long. That's the score, Duck. That's
It
the
is.
score.
We
It's going
agree.
to be 34-31.
Oh,
I think the Horns are going to hang in there. And I think
I
the
do
Horns are going
too.
to put up some numbers at home. But I think
I
they're going to
agree.
lose 34-31. I believe that. That's my
Yeah.
score. That is
Wow.
my score. That is my score. So they lose, and they're 8-4. What does that do for the offseason if they're 8-4? And then we'll come right back to the 9-3. So if they lose and they're 8-4, what happens on the 40 acres?
I don't know if Sark would make any changes on his staff. He's very loyal and very stubborn. He kind of seems to have yes men around him. I mean, Kyle Flood is the offensive coordinator, but we know it's Sark. So
Starts calling the plays.
I don't know if he would make any changes in staff, but if they were to lose bad to A&M, and 8-4 would seem more like a disaster when you're preseason number one. The portal will be critical. He's got to
Yes,
go
sir.
get some offensive linemen that can start out of the portal, and he probably needs a burner at running back and another playmaker or two on defense. He's got to go get some proven players that can play immediately.
I think if they're 8-4, someone's got to go, and it's not going to be Sark. It's not going to
No.
be Sark.
No.
Somebody's got to go because you got to show the administration and also these high money donors that you're not sitting pat with an 8-4 team, because everybody has injuries, but your best players you didn't lose your best players for many games.
Yeah.
Not to the point where you should have been 8-4. So
Yeah.
if they finished 8-4, I think someone's gonna have to bite the bullet. There's gonna be a sacrificial lamb. But what if they finish 9-3? Do they get into the CFP?
Well, it's going to depend on other games, obviously. Notre Dame's not going to lose to Stanford.
Nope.
You might want Pitt to beat Miami to take Miami out of the equation. You want Texas Tech to run the table. You don't want Michigan knocking off Ohio State and Michigan creeping into there would give them maybe a fourth team.
You could use Mississippi State upsetting Ole Miss. You could use that.
Oh yeah, that's one I'm picking actually. Mississippi State to upset Ole Miss, a distracted Ole Miss
Lame
Rebel team.
Kiffin, such a lame duck. You're leaving, and everybody knows it.
I don't know. I don't know if he knows. I wonder if there's a chance he's staying just because it'd be so cruel to, linger like he
Lane Kiffin
has.
cares about cruelty. If LSU's coming with 12 or 13 million a year, he's leaving, Duck. He's leaving.
You want to answer to the
He's
governor? The governor gets upset and fires you, and he can stay at Ole Miss
You
the
live-
rest of his life.
You live in Texas. We're talking about governors. Your governor is just as nosy as everybody else's. You're talking about you never even heard of the Louisiana governor until Brian Kelly got fired. But our governor is the most visible governor in America. But I don't think he has a say in who's coaching Texas, though.
And if you're leaving, Lane, quit saying how much you love Ole Miss, okay? Because it's disingenuous. I just think
it's you. I'm
it's
holding
very
you back.
It's very selfish of him to drag this out. He could have had any job he wanted, but he may just want his cake and eat it too because he wants to chase that natty with Ole Miss. But who knows if it comes out? If he announces, he can announce at halftime. You never know with how theatrical Lane Kiffin is, but if he announces he's taking another job, I don't know if Ole Miss lets him coach the Rebels in the playoffs. Do you?
Man, that would be a first for the CFP. A coach in the playoff leaving
in limbo, or maybe not at all.
I understood. If I had to choose between Baton Rouge and Oxford, I know where I'm staying. I'm eating Cajun food.
That's because you like the gumbo.
I'm not. I love the gumbo, and I'm not a huge fan of the state of Mississippi for personal reasons. But that's not something that we're gonna share on the podcast. But so we're both picking Texas. We're both picking Texas A&M, and
That's correct.
I really hope the Horns prove us wrong, Doug. I do.
Yeah.
I hope they prove. I don't mind being wrong.
No,
I don't mind being wrong. I'd love to write about them trying to sneak into the CFP. That's good for business.
Absolutely. The only game I really felt sure about was that Georgia was going to beat Texas. I thought they were clearly a better team, but this team kind of baffles us all along. So anyway,
Aggies have a lot of scar tissue.
They do.
So that scar tissue could be opened up in the process of a quarter. If the Texas Longhorns get a play or two going, you never know what can happen in a rivalry game.
That's why a quick start is important for Texas to have belief that they're the equal or better team on Friday night. So anyway,
Well,
you enjoy your turkey.
Man, everybody enjoy your turkey. We're going to be at the game tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. And if you see us at the game, come up and say hi. We love the On Second Thought audience. Check out Kirk Bohls' stuff on HoustonChronicle.com. And you can see my stuff on statesman.com. That's going to do it for this weekend or this week, whatever you want to call it. I'm Ced Golden, and he's the Duck, Kirk Bohls. We'll see you next time.
Happy holidays.
That's a wrap. You've just experienced On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. Want more? Join Ced and Kirk every Thursday for a fun sports ride from the ATX. Find archived episodes anytime on YouTube, Apple, Google Play, and Yahoo.